Let's go over some of the supplies that we need for the finishing video. You need some burlap ribbon. This has wire in it. I got that at JoAnns. A little grapevine wreath available at Factory Craft Direct, as well as little tin hearts. Rusted tin, of course. You're going to need a hot glue gun, a utility knife, a pen, a ruler, the straight edge. If you don't have one, no big deal, your ruler's fine. And then some sticky board. You'll need some pom-pom trim as well, but I don't show that till later. And then the frame I got at Hobby Lobby. Here's the item number 1554104. I bought it last year, so hopefully it's still available. So the first thing that I'm going to do is measure my finished piece, and then I add 1/4 of an inch to the measurement, just so that when I put it on a sticky board, I have a little bit of the linen still showing past the last stitched row. After I measure it, I write my measurements down. It was 6 1/4 and 6 1/8 inches, and that is using 32 count linen. But be sure to measure yours because it may be different than mine. Not all linens are created equal. So then I just draw that onto my sticky board and use my ruler and my utility knife and cut it nice and clean and crisp. I usually mark top if it's not exactly square, so I don't forget what way to put my sticky board. Now I'm just going through some mini pom-pom trim to see which one I like the best. I don't show it in this video, but when you actually peel the backing off your sticky board to expose the sticky part, I use a light table, and that way I can center my stitched piece over top of the sticky board and make sure that it's even on all sides, like it's perfectly centered. If you try to do that without it being backlit, it makes it really difficult to have the same amount of linen showing around all 4 sides, if that makes any sense at all. Basically, it just helps you to center it. So, you know, use a light table, or, you know, you might be able to tape the sticky board to a window, and then you can center your piece that way. That would be more difficult, but it'll work in a pinch if you don't have a light box. So as you can see, I was having a hard time figuring out what trim to use, but I settled on Dames of the Needle Mini Pom Pom in the color Grunge. And here you can see I'm just kind of holding it and making sure I have enough to go around the whole piece, which I do. Now I'm just putting all my trims away. Here I'm just showing you where my inspiration came from. This was a painting that I did a year or 2 ago, and so you can see the stitch piece next to the painting. And through the magic of video, I have it stuck to my sticky board now. What I'm doing here is I just put a piece of paper over top of it so that I can press the stitch piece down in all the areas without getting my oils from my hands on the linen. It just ensures you have no wrinkles. in your linen anyways. Now just use your scissors and cut the excess linen off on all four sides, leaving about an inch of linen left so that we can glue it to the back of the sticky board. And here I'm just checking to make sure that it's even on all four sides. So I just start in the corners and I glue all four of the corners down. Then I run a bead along the edge, and I use a piece of paper sometimes so that I don't burn my fingers, but I really pull tight on the corners. After I have all four corners done, you can see that when I run that bead across, I usually push the corners in and then do the sides, because I want my corners nice and sharp and pointed. Now I'm just going to use my hot glue gun to attach the mini pom-pom to my piece. So using some raw umber paint on a paper plate, I just use an old rag and dip the rag into the water and then into the raw umber paint, and just I'm rubbing down the frame to give it a more antique look so that it will match my piece better. Now I'm just going to glue my stitched piece to the frame, and I'm only going to put glue on 3 sides because the top part is not going to be touching the frame. And carefully turn it over without burning your fingers. You could leave your rusted tin heart rusty if you want, but I thought it would look better if it was painted the same color as the red color flowers in my stitched piece. So using apple barrel craft paint, red apple, and Ceramcoat craft paint, Tuscan red, I mix those two together to get the color that matches best with the flowers. And then I just paint the heart. Once that's dry, then I hot glue the heart to the grapevine wreath. Oh Lord, now we're going to make a bow. That is not my strong point. So as you watch me make this bow, you can tell that I struggle a bit. But I'm not going to speed this part up just so that you can see a little bit better how I do make the bow when I finally figure out what the heck I'm doing. So I'm kind of measuring it to make sure that it's going to fit properly on the frame. Once I get the bow to where it's even on both sides, I just use that florist wire to secure it in place. Well, I thought I had secured it in place. Again, making bows, not my strong suit. Now I'm gluing the tin heart that we painted red onto the little grapevine wreath. Then we will glue that to the bow, and then we will glue the bow to the frame. I had a hard time getting the heart to stick to the grapevine wreath because there's not a lot of surface area that the heart is touching the grapevine wreath. So I went in through the back and added some more glue, and that seemed to work better. Now I'm just centering it and, making sure it's going to fit and I get it where I want it before I actually put the glue on. I'm going to place it on my frame, make sure everything lines up good. Sorry for the back of my head. I don't even realize that's happening when I'm recording. I noticed that it wasn't stuck real well, so I just went into the top of my bow and put some glue in there and then pressed it down so that it would lay a little bit more flat. And just hold it in place for a little bit until that glue gets hard. And that's it. You have your springtime cottontail all done and ready for Easter or spring or both. Thanks for watching. Bye.